If you're watching this video, it's probably because your low washer fluid level indicator light turned on and you filled it up and it still stayed on. In this video, I'm going to show you how to solve this problem with two options, either disabling the system altogether on a Mazda or replacing the sensor with a new one to get it working again. The first option of disabling the system will not cost you anything. The second option will cost you about $13 in parts, and I'll leave an affiliate link in the video description to the exact sensor I bought on Amazon. I'm doing this repair on a 2021 Mazda CX-30. My guess is that other Mazdas of similar years would be the same process, but I have not confirmed that. In order to access the bottom of the washer fluid reservoir where the sensor is located, we're going to go in from a little panel on the passenger side in front of the wheel well. This is significantly easier if you lift the car on ramps, as I did here. Theoretically, you can do this repair without lifting the car on ramps, but it'll just be much tighter and will be a lot harder to work. But you probably could do it if you don't have ramps or don't want to spend money on ramps. So this is the small panel that we are going to open up. There are 3 screws that you remove with a Phillips head screwdriver, and then there are these little rivets that you just have to unsnap. I don't know exactly how many there are, I didn't count, but there's a few on the bottom, and then you also have to go in the wheel well here and remove a couple of them there. Now that we have removed the panel, you can look straight up at the bottom of the washer fluid reservoir. The sensor that's throwing the error code is right on the bottom there with the wires going to it, and to the side of it is the actual pump that pulls the fluid to wash the windshield, but don't touch that. That has nothing to do with this repair, just leave that alone. Before you do anything, you're going to want to remove this electrical connector to ensure that it doesn't get wet or there's no damage. And it was pretty simple. You just pull that tab on the top and pull it out. If you're having trouble, you can use some needle nose pliers, just applying pressure on that little tab on the top and then pulling it outward. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I confirmed that simply unplugging the sensor completely disables the system. As you could see here, there is no warning light, and I did confirm that. Now, if you do opt to stop here and not replace the sensor and just simply disable it, I highly advise just putting some electrical tape over the connector and just putting it out of the way somewhere. There is conveniently a little clip on the side of the washer reservoir, as you could see here, that you could just kind of pop the wire into and it will be out of the way. I don't know if it was intended for this purpose, but it happens to be there. And even if you are replacing the sensor, this is a handy spot to temporarily place it so it's out of the way to ensure that it will not get wet. Now at this point, I'm going to show you how to replace the sensor if you want to still have that feature on your car. Before you attempt to remove the old sensor, make sure you have a bucket underneath the area to ensure that you collect all of the washer fluid that's going to end up gushing out. So as you could see, I used a variety of different tools to remove the old sensor. I used a screwdriver, pliers, channel locks, whatever it takes. It was very difficult to remove, which is why I opted to just buy a new one and just do whatever it takes to get the old one out. Some people mention that you can clean them or repair them. Once you see the amount of effort it takes to remove it, you're not gonna even bother thinking about that. So out of frustration, I just figured, let me just remove it. When I found that cheap sensor to replace it on Amazon, again, I mentioned I'll leave the affiliate link in the video description below. For $13, I figured I'll just remove the old one, even if I break it, and I'll just put a new one in. Now, one thing to just pay attention to while you're removing the old sensor, and also later on when you're installing the new one, is to just be aware of how forceful you are being with pulling it out or pushing the new one in. Because as you could see here in this photo, I noticed that some of the plastic on the reservoir itself, kind of around the opening, was starting to kind of stretch a little bit from me pushing and pulling. And the last thing you want to do is damage the reservoir. If you need to replace the entire reservoir because you caused a crack, that's a much larger, more involved repair that's going to require taking the entire bumper off. A lot of effort, a lot of cost. So just be as forceful as you need to be, but also careful and aware that you're not going too overboard. Now here's what the new sensor looks like. It has the floater tube with the electrical connector all as like one unit, and then there is a rubber gasket that is used to seal it so that it's watertight once you install it so you don't have any leaks. In this image, I have assembled it by putting the gasket onto the sensor. However, this is just for demonstration purposes so you can get a visual of what the end result would look like once installed. But they come separately and keep them separately because we're actually going to install the gasket onto the reservoir first and then push the sensor in through it. I found that was a much easier way to install it successfully. One thing to note is the gasket has a wider lipped end and then a narrower lipped end. The wider end is on the bottom or the outside, and then the narrower lipped end goes on the inside of the washer reservoir. Now we're going to install the rubber gasket onto the washer reservoir. I found it a little easier to lubricate it a little bit. I just used this hair clipper oil that I use to lubricate my hair clippers with, but you can use pretty much any oil you have on hand. And I'm just lubricating the inside to make the sensor easier to slide in. At this point, I had already attempted to install the sensor once, and I noticed with the dry rubber that was not lubricated, it kept getting stuck and it was really hard to push through, so the oil helped out a lot. I'll also leave an affiliate link in the video description to the exact oil that I used. Next, just slide the body of the sensor through the opening, and I didn't film this, but you're going to want to use a pretty good amount of force to just push it in and it will pop in. I did use both hands for that, so I wasn't able to film it, but just make sure that it is nice and secure. Now, after you've pushed it in, you'll notice it might have crushed this little rubber lip like flap that's supposed to come out and cover the outer plastic edge of the sensor. So I found it easiest to just kind of massage it like this with my finger and pull it out so that it completely covers the outside of that plastic edge of the sensor. And after I did that, I just pushed it in a few more times just to make sure that it was securely seated into the opening. Next, reinstall the electrical connector by simply snapping it back into place into the new sensor. Now add a little bit of washer fluid, but just enough to test if there are any leaks. Now once you've confirmed that it is not leaking and that your install was successful, I turned the car back on just to make sure that the new sensor was in fact working and was tripping the warning light with a very low level of washer fluid. Now that I confirmed that the sensor was successfully detecting a low level of washer fluid, I decided to fill the entire reservoir with washer fluid. Finally, I turned the car on one last time to ensure that the warning was not present when the reservoir was full with washer fluid. As you can see, the install was fully successful and there is no warning light present, and the new sensor is working as it should. I hope this video helped you out and helped you save some money, and if it did, please give this video a like and leave a comment below. I wish you luck in your repair, and thanks for watching.